You do not need to be fearless to live a brave life. You only need enough courage to take the next honest step. The work of a brave life is not loud or perfect. It is precise, steady, and deeply human. We build it the way we build a foundation, one layer at a time, until the ground beneath us is strong. Strong ground begins when you stop negotiating your worth with people who have not earned the right to hear your story. It begins when you turn toward your own life with clarity instead of judgment, with curiosity instead of cynicism, with compassion instead of contempt. You are not behind. You are right on time for the work that is yours to do. We have been taught to armor up, act certain, impress others, hide the messy middle. Armor is clever in the short term and expensive in the long term. It keeps us safe from the risk of being seen, and it keeps us far from the possibility of being loved. Strong ground asks for a different strategy. It asks for expansiveness. It asks you to step out of the costume and into the arena, not because you are guaranteed a win, but because you are worthy of the try. Vulnerability is not confession without boundaries. It is clarity with courage. It is choosing to show up when we cannot control the outcome. It is staying present when shame whispers, when perfection tightens your chest, when scarcity tells you there is not enough love, not enough time, not enough you. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the most accurate measure of courage we have. You can feel it in your throat when you ask for help, in your palms when you tell the truth, in your spine when you hold a boundary with kindness and without apology. Shame thrives in secrecy and silence, but it withers in empathy. The moment you speak the story you have been hiding, and it is met with "me too," you loosen the knot that has been tightening for years. Empathy does not fix, it witnesses. It says, "I am willing to sit with you in the dark without rushing you back into the light." When we are met like this, something strong and quiet moves inside us. We stop hustling for worthiness and begin to live from it. Courage and compassion are not feelings to wait for. They are practices to build. Courage is a choice repeated under pressure. Compassion is a muscle strengthened by lifting what is heavy. Both are skills, and like all skills, they grow with deliberate reps. One more honest conversation, one more boundary held, one more apology delivered without excuses. Repetition rewires us. Discipline dignifies us. Practice becomes character. Trust is a stack of small stones, not one dramatic boulder. It is built and rebuilt through behaviors that are boring and reliable, arriving when we said we would, telling the truth without theatrical heroics, repairing quickly when we miss, keeping what is shared in confidence inside a vault that does not leak. We cannot demand trust. We can only demonstrate trustworthiness. If we want relationships we can rest in, the foundation is consistent, ordinary integrity. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors with doorknobs you can turn. A boundary is simply the distance at which I can love you and myself simultaneously. When we fail to set boundaries, resentment becomes the tax we pay. When we set them with clarity and kindness, intimacy becomes possible. Let your yes be wholehearted and your no be graceful. Both are sacred words that protect connection rather than punish it. Belonging cannot be purchased with fitting in. Fitting in is trading pieces of yourself for conditional acceptance. Belonging is bringing your whole self and being held by people who can tell the difference between your values and your performance. You cannot belong to a room where your honesty is too expensive. Find the rooms that celebrate your edges, not only your polish. Build those rooms for others when you can. Courage requires story stewardship, the discipline of owning the story you are living so it does not own you. When something hard happens, our nervous system writes a first draft story to make sense of the pain. The first draft is almost always incomplete and rarely kind. They don't respect me. I always mess this up. I'm not worth the effort. Strong ground is the practice of pausing, naming the story, and rumbling with it. What are the facts? What am I making up? What do I need to ask for or clarify? This rumble is not self-attack. It is self-respect. It is how we move from reactivity to responsibility. We rise not by avoiding the fall, but by learning to walk through it. The arc is simple and demanding. Reckon, rumble, and rise. We reckon by recognizing we are hooked by emotion. We rumble with the story, with the armor, with the patterns that once kept us safe and now keep us small. We rise by integrating the learning into our lives. New boundaries, braver conversations, kinder self-talk, clearer commitments. Rising is not getting back to who we were. It is becoming someone we had not yet met. Values are not slogans for a website. Values are decisions on your calendar and dollars in your budget and the way you speak to people who can do nothing for you. Pick 2 core values that anchor you when life tilts. Maybe courage and compassion, maybe honesty and respect. Test them in crowded meetings and lonely nights. Let them ask you hard questions. Did you choose comfort over courage? Did you choose being right over being kind? Are you being generous in your interpretation of someone else's behavior? A life aligned with values is a life with fewer regrets and more sleep. Perfectionism masquerades as excellence, but cannot tolerate humanity. It is a 20-ton shield that keeps us from being hurt and keeps us from being seen. Replace the question, is it perfect, with, is it generous? Is it true? Is it enough for now? Excellence is iterative. Strong ground is willing to be seen at version 1.0, so version 10.0 can exist at all. We learn to lead ourselves the same way we learn to lead others, with clarity, curiosity, and accountability. Clarity is kind. Confusion, left unattended, grows into resentment. Say what you mean, ask for what you need, and check for what is understood. Curiosity keeps us out of certainty traps. Instead of, you're wrong, try, tell me more. Accountability repairs the inevitable misses. I own my part. I apologize for the impact, and I change my behavior. This is daring leadership at home, at work, and in the mirror. When emotions surge, name them. If you can name it, you can navigate it. I feel shame is different than see, I am shameful. I feel fear is different than I am weak. Language is a map. Better language is a better map. Emotional granularity gives us more choices than fight, flight, or freeze. You were not meant to be ruled by storms you pretend are weatherless skies. Call the weather what it is, and then choose your response. Resilience is not bouncing back. It is integrating what happened into a wiser way forward. We grow more resilient by cultivating connection, meaning, and permission to be beginners. First times are awkward. First times are inefficient. First times are vulnerable. But first times are also a bridge to the lives we keep saying we want. Walk the bridge imperfectly. Your courage is more instructive than your polish. Generosity of interpretation is a radical act. When we assume that most people are doing the best they can with the skills and pain and limits they carry, we reduce unnecessary suffering. Generosity does not excuse harm. It simply asks that we investigate before we indict. It asks us to replace "what's wrong with you" with "what's going on with you." It's amazing what opens when we move from interrogation to invitation. Confidence is the residue of kept promises. Make and keep small, clear promises to yourself. I will move my body today. I will write for 15 minutes. I will call the person I have been avoiding and own my part. Each kept promise builds a staircase. Climb it long enough and other people will call it confidence. You will know it as self-trust. Your nervous system needs rest to be brave again tomorrow. Strong ground includes recovery. Sleep as protest against hustle culture. Play as nourishment for creativity. And laughter as proof we are more than our productivity. Joy is not a luxury item for later. It is fuel for the work of today. If joy feels out of reach, aim for awe. The sky showing off at dusk, the dog's uncomplicated welcome, the miracle of breath finding its rhythm again. Awe widens tight places so courage can fit. Apology is not defeat. It is repair. A real apology names the behavior, acknowledges the impact, asks what is needed now, and commits to change. "I'm sorry you feel that way" is not an apology. It is evasion dressed up as empathy. When we repair well, trust grows taller than the mistake. Forgiveness is setting down the weight you can no longer carry. It does not erase accountability. It releases the right to keep reliving the injury. Sometimes the person you need to forgive is the younger version of you who did not know better and did the best she could. Let her come home. Let him rest. It is normal to feel scared when you stop abandoning yourself. The old patterns will bargain hard. People who preferred the smaller version of you will ask for her back. Let them. Your job is not to be the custodian of everyone's comfort. Your job is to be faithful to the life you are responsible for living. This fidelity is not selfish. It is stewardship. Shame says, "Who do you think you are?" Courage says, "I am someone learning." Shame says, "If they know this about you, they will leave." Courage says, "If they require my pretending, I am already alone." Shame says, "Don't try. Failing will kill you." Courage says, "Trying will teach me who I am." Which voice will you feed? Which voice will you echo for others? Armored leadership demands execution without emotion. Daring leadership honors emotion as data and still calls us to excellence. Armored leadership performs for approval. Daring leadership serves for impact. Armored leadership guards power. Daring leadership shares it and builds more. Every day you will choose who you want to be. Your team, your family, and your future self are watching. Choose with intention. We cannot outrun vulnerability with certainty. The world will remain unpredictable, and people will remain imperfect. The good news is that courage does not require a predictable world or perfect people. It requires presence, values, and the willingness to try. It requires getting clear on what matters more than comfort and living from that clarity when comfort shouts the loudest. Strong ground is not made in grand gestures, but in daily agreements. Today, I will speak to myself with dignity. Today, I will set one honest boundary. Today, I will ask for what I need without theatrics. Today, I will do something kind that no one sees. Today, I will be brave for 10 seconds at a time. This is how foundations are poured. One measured bucket at a time, until the house of your life can hold weather. When criticism arrives from the cheap seats, check your coordinates. Is the feedback from someone in the arena, covered in dust and sweat, invested in your becoming? Or is it from a spectator who invests nothing and risks nothing? Feedback is precious when it is earned. Until then, stay with your square squad, the small circle of people who love you for your values and expect you to live them. There will be seasons of pruning when good things are set down so great things can grow. Letting go is not failure, it is agriculture. The ground must breathe. Your calendar must breathe. Your heart must breathe. What you release becomes room for what you've been asking for. You will not think your way into a new life without acting your way into it. The body is the stage on which courage performs. Make the call. Write the line. Send the resume. Walk into the room. Say, I need help. Say, I'm sorry. Say, no. The fastest way to become the person you respect is to do the next right thing and repeat. Self-compassion is the only soil where sustainable change grows. You cannot hate yourself into a version you will love. Speak to yourself the way you speak to someone you're responsible for protecting. Encourage effort, celebrate progress, redirect with warmth. Replace, you should have done more with, you did what you could today, and that matters. Your story is not a courtroom, it is a classroom. You are allowed to evolve mid-sentence. You are allowed to learn in public. You are allowed to be proud of yourself before the world is. Pride and honest effort is not arrogance. It is an anchor. It keeps you from outsourcing your worth to metrics that were never designed to measure a soul. If you want to move a mountain, start by learning its weather. Learn your triggers, your tells, your tired places. Learn the difference between danger and discomfort. Learn the sensations of shame so you do not mistake them for truth. Learn how your body says yes and how it says no. This literacy is freedom. It lets you navigate without abandoning yourself. There is a tenderness available only to the brave, a softness toward yourself and others that does not collapse into pleasing or harden into performance. Tenderness is not fragility. It is strength without theatrics. It allows you to see more clearly, to listen more deeply, and to act more wisely. It is the texture of a life that is both strong and kind. You are allowed to be a beginner at the life you've been living for years. Begin again today with a sentence of truth spoken out loud, with a boundary that protects your energy, with an apology that makes a bridge, with a request that lets someone love you in a way you actually need. Begin again without shame. The ground you're building is strong enough to handle another start. One day, not far from now, you will reach for the doorknob of a room that used to terrify you, and your hand will be steady. You will walk through a conversation that used to shut down your lungs, and your breath will stay. You will say the thing that needed saying, and silence will not swallow you. You will realize that courage has become the way you move, not a performance you rehearse. Strong ground is not a place. It is a practice. It is the daily decision to live with your heart unhidden and your values untraded. It is the habit of coming home to yourself, especially when the world is loud, especially when the metrics seduce, especially when shame hisses old lines. You are not who the worst moment says you are. You are who you practice being. So here is the practice. Tell the truth, even when your voice shakes. Set the boundary, even when your hands tremble. Ask for help, even when your pride protests. Offer empathy, even when you disagree. Repair quickly, even when your ego wants to be right. Celebrate your progress, even when perfection criticizes. Rest on purpose, even when hustling feels holy. And keep going, especially then, because you are building a life that can hold weather. You are not here to win every battle. You are here to live with your whole heart. You are here to love and be loved without bargaining away your self-respect. You are here to be brave 1,000 small times, to learn from the falls, to rise wiser than you were, and to leave the ground stronger for the next person who needs a place to stand. This is strong ground. Not the absence of uncertainty, but the presence of yourself. Not a life without fear, but a life where fear does not get the final word. Not perfection, but practice. Not applause, but alignment. You do not have to earn your worthiness. You only have to live it. And when the day ends, let it end. Offer the work of the day back to the world with open hands. Name what was brave. Name what you learned. Name what you will try again tomorrow. Then sleep like someone who knows that courage is not a performance. It is a way of being. Wake like someone who trusts that love and truth and clear boundaries can hold a life. Step onto the floor. Feel the weight of your feet. The ground is strong, and so are you.